Texans get absolutely destroyed, beat, embarrassed in New York. What now? What now? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room.
Ugliest loss of the season for the Texans. They get embarrassed by the Jets 30-6. And there's a lot of reasons why. And now it's really about how. How do the Texans win a game without the best player that they have, and perhaps one of the best players in the NFL this year, and perhaps someone that they quite frankly depend on too much? It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. We'll hear from D'Amico Ryans what he had to say when he talked to the media types today. I got back from New York. It was ugly on the field. It was ugly off. Flight got canceled yesterday. Flight got moved up to today. And it was just a big ordeal. So normally we do the post-game show right after, and we do the post-wrap right here. But we're just going to combine them and get them ready. I'm not sure what Calvin MacArthur is talking about. We have all the excuses. Season is over unless the NFL does something different than what I think they're going to do with the Texans. I would love to hear this conspiracy theory. I don't know what that means or what you're implying or what the NFL would do to the Texans or what you think they're going to do. I'm actually kind of I'm very much in favor of a Reaction Monday conspiracy theory. I have 4 reasons for the beatdown against the Jets. And I think it's a lot easier than, really thinking too much about it. I think there's 4 reasons why the Texans lost this game. Number one, they lost key pieces in what you depend on. They did the key pieces in what you depend on, perhaps a little bit too much. The pass game. You lose Tank Dell. You lose Nico Collins. You don't have Dalton Schultz. You're already too dependent on the pass. You can't. First of all, you might be too dependent even when you're at full strength. But when you're going against a good defense like that and you're having to rely on Xavier Hutchinson, Robert Woods, and Noah Brown, it's just not going to work. So the thing that you depended on most, you lost key pieces in. Number 2, the Jets had better skill guys on offense. Now, maybe you can connect this to the other one, but they just have better skill guys on offense. They had Breece Hall and they had Garrett Wilson. We can argue over who the best offensive player was, but it comes down to those 2 guys. There was no one that the Texans could even attempt to guard Garrett Wilson with. And Breece Hall, this team has had an inability to cover tight ends and running backs for a while now. And I think they just kind of exposed it. Christian Harris, I think he's still I missed my flight. He might have missed his flight too because he was probably still picking up his jock from the turf trying to cover. I think he was targeted 10 times and 9 times it was caught or something like that. So they had better skill guys on offense. Reason number 3, the inability to have any balance on offense. I don't know what the deal is. I know that Devin Singletary got more carries this week. I just don't understand why that has just become something they just don't even really want to try as much as they did the 2 weeks that it works. I know matchups and all this, but I don't get it. And I know the carry share looks a little bit different, but it just doesn't seem like there's a real effort to try to capitalize on what Singletary was doing before Dameon Pierce came back. And yeah, again, we can look at the carry share here, but it doesn't seem like there's an emphasis on it. It seems like they just flat out gave up on it a couple times because they wanted to give Pierce the rock more. This time, it doesn't seem like there's much effort. And oh, by the way, the O-line, they're not good. And reason for the inability to cover intermediate routes. We just talked about this. Whether it was Breece Hall, whether it was Wilson, Conklin came up there and got his stuff. I don't know what was what the problem is. I think it could be a personnel thing, but between Harris and then Cashman leaving, they just got problems there. And now the Texans are one of 6 teams at 7-6. They're in the cluster. They had a massive opportunity this week. I mean, my God, we're talking probably 80% playoff probability if you win this game. It's a lot to ask because they were just outmanned by the Jets. But I mean, all the teams that you needed to lose lost. And now you open up. Tennessee opens as a 1-point favorite. Tennessee just surprised the hell out of the Dolphins. and you're probably going to have to, oh, by the way, win this game with Davis Mills. So that's just, other than that, everything's freaking fantastic. But they have the opportunity. I think this is the D'Amico game. And I go back to, I think it was 2018 when Mike Vrabel and the Titans beat the Texans week 2 with Gabbert. And it was an ugly game, scored a special teams touchdown. We've seen like the CJ game. We've seen the CJ moments. This is going to have to be the D'Amico game. You're going to have to yuck it up. Bobby Slowick's probably going to have to get a little bit more creative. He's probably going to have to display a little bit more willingness to try to run the ball, try to get other guys involved. But I would anticipate that CJ Stroud doesn't play this week. I think one guy has been in concussion protocol and ended up being cleared. I don't think they're going to do that with CJ. So you're going to have to go to Tennessee against the Titans rocking Oiler uniforms, and you're going to have to win a game with Davis Mills. Doesn't sound great. Let's check on D'Amico Ryans and see what he thinks about it. D'Amico media type.
CJ's still in the concussion protocol. We'll see how it goes throughout the week, and hopefully he continues to feel better.
Did he actually sustain a concussion, diagnosed with concussion?
Say that again?
Was he actually diagnosed with concussion?
Yes, he's in the concussion protocol.
Excuse me, you saw a lot of Mills in off-season, training camp, preseason. What do you think about his demeanor off the field and the things you've seen him as a passer?
Yeah, he's done a good job for us. The reps that he's gotten on the scout team and everything, he's done a good job for us. Demeanor has been the same, but he's done what we've asked him to do.
Even though you had a chance to look at the film from yesterday, anything stand out that you didn't see standing there on the sideline?
Yeah, same. The things that stood out to me, just watching the film again today, it was it really comes down to executing. Right? We did not execute offensively, defensively. It wasn't good enough. And when you watch the film, as I think I said yesterday, you don't deserve the win when you play the way that we play. Right? So I told our guys today, our playmakers, or guys who are our best players, have to play their best, and they have to make plays. And we had guys in position to make plays on yesterday that didn't make plays. And if we want to continue to move forward, we want to have a good end to our season here, right? Make a run down the stretch, then our playmakers have to step up and make plays, and that'll never change.
When Nico goes down, can you guys continue to do everything that you wanted to do throughout the week from a game plan perspective, or do you have to adjust and maybe change some things because somebody else is Nico in a play or assignment or a set or something?
For sure, losing Nico is tough. Nico has been an explosive playmaker for us all year, right? He's a guy who's been truly reliable. We've needed it most in those moments. Nico has showed up and made those plays. So when you lose him, like, things change, like how you call the plays you had designed for Nico, that changes, right? Because he isn't out there, and so you have to find a way to still continue to move the ball, right? Other people have to step up and make plays when that opportunity, right, is thrust upon them. Are they stepping up and making those plays, right? No matter who's in, we expect our guys just to be their best, and we didn't play our best yesterday.
D'Amico, did you feel like y'all went away from the run a little early, or did y'all feel
Yeah,
like
you did.
Yeah, with the run game, I thought Motor had some really nice runs. Thought O-line, they did a good job of blocking it. We ran it better. And, you should continue to mix it up, right? People say you get away from the run. I mean, there are opportunities there in the passing game that we had. We just didn't make those plays. So we had opportunities in the pass game that we didn't connect on, but I thought Motor ran the ball well. I thought the O-line blocked it well.
Coach, you mentioned the offensive line, run blocking, I think 18 sacks in the last 4 games. How have you evaluated the offensive line during that time, and what have you observed in terms of maybe what the opposition's kind of done to gum things up?
Just overall up front, of course, we have to protect it better, right? And it's the protection that has to be better, but it's quarterback, receivers, timing when the ball has to be out. At a certain time, it has to be out. We have to protect it better, of course, up front, and we can do a better job, right, handling the stunts and games that we're getting up front. We can do a better job of handling it. We can do a better job of sustaining and finishing, and we can do a better job of cleaning up the mental errors that have occurred where we've allowed some guys to just come through free, where those are things I look at it where we control those things, right? Are we on it mentally, right? Are we sharp with our communication? Are we all playing together? Right? Those things we can clean up, and we have to, right, moving forward.
Nico, how do you review with CJ's injury and maxing concussion protocol? How do you review, say he's clear? Protecting him long term, being that he's such a big investment.
Yeah, we'll see. As he goes throughout the week, we'll see how he progresses throughout the concussion protocol, and that just has to run its course. I don't think many guys haven't came back the following week after concussion. You have to make sure at the end of the day, no matter the position, no matter who the guy is, you have to make sure guys are healthy, and we're protecting guys. And that right, when it comes to the concussion, right, or the head injuries, we have to make sure we're protecting all of our guys, because it's more about their long-term health as opposed to just everybody gets excited about the next game and the next opportunity. But we care about these guys as men off the field and making sure their health is the at utmost importance to us.
You talk about execution, and the players that have come in, they also have the same thing. We didn't execute. Do you take that same look to say, are there some things we could do differently game plan-wise as well?
Yeah, of course. I always look internally first. I look at myself and see, okay, how can we help guys execute better, right? And can we coach it better? Can we put guys in those positions more, right, throughout the week? So it always starts with me first, right, and seeing did I do a good enough job of helping the guys, preparing them to make sure they're in the right positions to make plays. And, then it ultimately comes down to the player, right, when they're out there and it's live action, they have to show up and they have to make those plays.
Nico Jonathan got to 10 sacks this season. Last game, first time that's been done since 18. This year, what have you seen from him, and how is your game planning able to fit with his skill set and what you've seen him be able to do, and just to complement the skill set of the game plan?
Yeah, Jonathan has had a good, productive year. He's done some good things for us this year and continue to have some things he can clean up to help us to play better. But when all the guys up front are rushing together, everybody has success. When everybody is rushing together, nobody's playing selfishly. Everybody rush together. Everybody, as we say with the D-line room, everybody eats when everybody rushes together. So we continue to do that, and we'll continue to see the success from those guys.
Take a few more. The guys faced yesterday was the first time they had challenging elements to play in. Is that an issue? Because obviously it was the same elements from both sides of the team, but it looked like one side looked like they didn't want to be out there in that particular element. And going forward, that could very well be something they're going to.
The challenge that the Titans present for you guys.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to get into the Titans much, but as I go into this week, and I know the Titans, they're going to be a tough physical unit, as Vrabel has always put that type of team out on the field. So I know it's going to be a battle there from a standpoint from a physical matter. But for us, it's truly about us this week. Like, if we get out of the Texans have to get out of the Texans' way. And that's the message to our guys, right? We have to clean up our operation, clean up the things that we're doing, right, to give ourselves a chance to compete. All right, yesterday I didn't think we had a chance to compete against the Jets because we're still fighting against ourselves. So once we get out of our own way, and we can go and compete, right, and have a truly fair match.
Coach, you said yesterday you could find many positives from the game after reviewing it today. Were you able to, take some positives away from yesterday?
Yeah, nothing. The positive is it's over, and we move on, right? It wasn't a lot of positives to gain from that game. It wasn't good offensively. It wasn't good defensively. I think our punt unit did a really good job. They had a really good punt rush team, and I thought our punt team, Cam, did a good job of punting the ball, and D'Angelo Ross did a really good job of covering, right? Played with speed, played fast, played decisive. So one thing I would say is Cam and D'Angelo Ross, the way they played, really stood out to me.
We'll close with Jonathan and John.
At this point, do you know anything further on Nico?
No, don't have any updates on Nico yet. I'll know more throughout the week. Most of the guys who got injured in the game, they're still going through testing, and we'll have updates later in the week as we figure out more information.
Nico, you got a second, third quarterback who've been multi-year starters in the league. How comfortable do you feel with them?
We'll see with our quarterback position, with Case and Davis. We'll see where we end up throughout the week. Both guys have played a lot of football, and at this point of where we are, we just one guy's going to put ourselves in position, right, to win football games, right? Who can we count on to help us win football games, and that's how we'll decide.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, there you go, D'Amico. So he said the best thing about it is that it's over. I agree with that. One thing he did say is he said he felt like there's self-inflicted wounds and the Texans can't get out of their own way. I don't agree with that based on watching that game, based on being very close at that game. I actually agree with Nick. I feel like the Jet strengths matched up perfect with our weaknesses that day, 100%. Good pass defense, dependent pass defense, 3 of your guys out, and just their intermediate options were able to expose the Texans defense. So I agree. I agree with that. In the life of Colby is asking, are you giving up on them, Landry? I mean, I wouldn't say I'm giving up on them. I'm just going to say this. They're in the playoff mix. They have concerning injuries. They're not going to have CJ Stroud on Sunday, and they're facing a team that just beat the Dolphins. And they're going to need to win this game. That's it. I mean, if that, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and say, you got to handle business. I don't know that. I think they've played as good as you can expect them to play, and they're going to have to find ways to win ugly. That was an ugly-ass game on Sunday, and they didn't even have the guys that they needed to win it. But they're going to have to find ways to win some ugly-ass games. And the 4 games they got remaining have potential to be really ugly games, especially this one. It's going to be on D'Amico. It's going to be on Bobby Slowick. So that's all I'm saying. I don't think the season's over at all. I think it's the NFL, and you can find ways to win games that you don't expect to win. All I'm saying is if I told you that Davis Mills was starting against the Titans and he might not have Nico Collins or Tank Dell, how would you feel? I don't think anyone would feel too good. I wouldn't feel good if he was facing freaking U of H in that situation. Although I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit. But that's just where we're at. That's just where we're at. Can the Texans win a game with Davis Mills? That's going to be the question we're going to be asking this week. You heard John McClain at that press conference. Going to talk to him at 11. I'm going to get some rest, though. Staying at an airport when your flight's supposed to be at 7. So we flew from Boston to New York at 5 o'clock our time. We got to New York. We had a good time. We walked around. It was fine. It was rainy and stuff. And then we get to the airport, cancel our flight. Cancel our damn flight. So we have to stay at the airport, which isn't very comfortable. And then flew in at 11, had to walk across the airport, take that subway bush to get my bags and stuff. So, yeah, this is not going to be as long as a post-game show, but we'll have plenty of time this week. We'll be able to gather ourselves, and then we'll go on to the Tennessee Titans. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Do you think the Texans have a chance? Are you giving up on them? Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. We'll get this going. And no matter what happens, we're all in it together. Appreciate you.
Hey, locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop.